Hello Whiskey Daydreamers, welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm your host Mark and I am presenting Whiskey Review number 130, which is of yours truly and Swami Suave of Malted in Montreal, co-hosting a review of Baker's Bourbon. Baker's is from Jim Beam. Please watch on.
Welcome Scotch Addicts, welcome to a special Malted in Montreal. Tonight I'm going to be doing a review on Baker's number 7. And I got a special guest host that's going to be coming to you live from Skype. And we're going to be doing this review together. You all know him. He's a close friend with me on the review. And his channel is growing and becoming one of the top channels that you can find reviews on YouTube. He's my friend Mark from WhiskyWhistle. And he'll be joining me in a couple of moments. Thank you.
Hi everybody. Am I on?
You're on.
All right. Hi, Swami. Hello, all the fans of Malted in Montreal. Yes, this is Mark Kaufman from the Whiskey Whistle YouTube channel, and I'm really happy to be here with Swami to review this this kick-ass bourbon.
I'm
Baker's.
very excited. I got my Kentucky tuxedo on tonight, as you can see. Here with a nice camouflage hat and the tie, just to feel at home with you guys up in the red states.
Looks perfect. I can tell you right now that I'm really happy with his attire tonight. Myself,
Sure.
I was thinking of putting on a wife beater. I think that's probably inappropriate, politically inappropriate. But anyway, Swami advised me to just dress the way I normally do. So I've just put on a slightly more casual sweater, but we're ready to go.
Yes. So here's the bourbon that we are doing tonight, the Baker's, if you want to show on your end there. Excellent. Yeah. So it's bottled at 57%. As Mark knows on the proof, it's 102, we said?
107.
107, I apologize, 107 proof. See, that's why I have him. He's the encyclopedia. I'm still the amateur. Yeah, it's pretty late down here in Montreal. We're at midnight, and how is it in Korea? What time is it over there?
It is presently 2:30 in the afternoon on Sunday, so I'm about 14 hours ahead of you.
Well, I appreciate very much you taking the time to do this review with me as well, my friend.
I'm very pleased to do it.
All right, so what I do know about this bourbon, if you want to add anything, you're more than welcome to jump in at any time. It comes in the same lineup with the Basil Hayden, the Knob Creek collections, which have the single barrel and the small batch collection from the Knob Creeks, and as well as the Booker's. This one would be third on the lineup to the top. The only one that is more expensive in the lineup, I think, is the Booker's, which is at a barrel proof.
Right.
Yes. The Booker's I have yet to try. If you have, you're very lucky.
I haven't.
I've been sold out in Montreal for about 6-7 months. I'm waiting for it to come back in. I've heard good things about it. But heard this one is considered like let's call it the underdog of the group because of its price range. In the States, it's running at about between $48 and $50, and in Canada, it's running at about $60 to $61.
And
so
I think
a lot of people... Go ahead.
I think I paid maybe 110,000 Korean won. That's about 125 Canadian, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's pretty high up. I paid 61 here in Quebec. I think in Ontario it's on for about 70.
That's a lot cheaper.
I've been playing around with the bottle a lot. I really like it. I'm not putting any notes tonight. I'd like to kind of go natural with you and see what we smell like. And as you know, with whiskeys, it depends on the day. Some days you can love it. Other days you might not like it as much. And some days you'll get different odors and aromas and nosings and tastes. So I'm hoping today's a good day. From what I've had so far, I've really liked it, and we'll see what we get tonight.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. I'm going to put you a little closer.
Well, live TV would be
All right, we're back.
So I'm going to start off with the nosing right now. I'm doing it with no water added. I got some water on the side that I'm going to add after.
Likewise.
Yeah, as we said, this ball is 53.5%, so it's going to be a heavy hitter. Here I go. Lots of vanilla, lots of caramel, lots of burnt sugars. I'm really liking the copper color of it, if you've noticed. In comparison, if you've seen the Basil and the Knob Creeks.
Yeah, it's got a really nice copper shade. You're right.
Yeah.
I wrote the word brass down, so maybe just a little bit more, little darker than straight copper. But yeah, pretty much that's it's a pure color too, right? It's not there's no color added to bourbon, so we can at least appreciate the beauty of the color.
Yes, that's one thing I really like about Kentucky bourbons. You cannot add any E150 to these, so they keep it nice and natural and pure. All right.
Now, I like your burnt sugar comment. That really fits what I was trying to articulate. I just wrote sweet.
Yeah.
Do you get a little bit of a rye hint in there?
I do get a little tiny bit of that rye kind of penny kind of smell coming off of it, the rye bread.
Yeah.
And when it's like, pennies there. A little bit off the back end, a little metallic.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of the rye bread.
And this is a little strange, and it's not that it's bad, but this reminds me of a felt tip pen, the kind that you like to smell.
Yeah.
Not the kind that are that turn you off, but the ones that's kind of like, oh, that smells pretty good.
I do think you're gonna get a little loopy off of smell a little bit. I do get a little bit of that marker kind of smell now that you mentioned it. Off the end, I did not notice that though. Off the back end.
Mm-hmm. And then I get a slight little bit of licorice, like a licorice smelly marker from my childhood, and then some cinnamon, cardamom, and a dark sourdough loaf.
Definitely with the cinnamon. The cardamom, I'm not too. How would I say this? I'm not too aware of because I haven't really smelled too many cardamoms in my life, so I can't give you that. But definitely the loaf, the rye loaf, and everything. Yeah. Sourdough.
Yeah, cardamom's kind of like a sweet spice. It's used in, I think it's used in some Indian cooking when they make a sweet curry. But you can bake with it. It's actually quite a nice spice for baking.
It's a flower, isn't it, a cardamom?
Cardamom, no, it's a little pod. It's considered a spice. I don't know exactly. I guess it comes from a tree. Obviously, it's a plant. It's a plant matter, but exactly what? I think it's just a seed, like a big pod seed. Anyway.
Well, I'll definitely try to know some of it sooner or later, so I can kind of get it.
Yeah, go for some curry. If you get those little round balls inside the a mild curry dish, those little round balls are cardamom.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about now. I've heard of it. I've just never really had a chance to engage myself in the aroma.
Yeah, it's not really a popular spice for Western folk, European descent, European originated people like you and myself.
White people, yeah.
White, yes, yeah. White people.
I'm bland.
Anyway.
No, but
by the way, I'm apparently about a 30-second Spanish.
Oh.
So who knew?
I think I might have a little bit of more in me from what I've heard. But I'm half Italian from Calabrese, so supposedly I should have some of that in me. That's cool.
That's what gives you that great beard.
Yeah. Maybe. That might be it. Might be Russian. So.
Let's get onto the palate.
All right. Definitely some charcoal on the palate. Not super burny. I don't find it very hot on the palate, considering the alcohol. what I do find though is I think I talked to you about this the first time we spoke on the first time I tried it. It's very dry in comparison to the nose. Not, and I've watched a few reviews from other people, and they're all telling me how sweet it is and very sweet, and I find it incredibly drying. Very long finish. It lingers, it sticks around.
It really does.
Yeah.
I find it hits my tongue and it's sweet, and then just as you said, it just totally fills your mouth with that dryness. Kind of like, I mean, beyond the dryness of a dry red wine, more like the dryness you get from like banana skins or.
It definitely takes the moisture out of the mouth. Like it's like it's gone when I put it in. Like everything, the saliva evaporates, and it really concentrates to the back of the jowls and the back of the tongue.
Yeah, I can't think of a wine I've ever had that's as dry as this.
Speaking of the wine, I love the shape of the bottle. I find it's really cool, like how it's kind of like a wine bottle.
I agree.
Yeah, it's got that really...
very similar to some Japanese sake bottles and Japanese shochu, the Japanese version of Korean soju bottles. Very similar.
I'm not getting too much of the sweetness, but I am getting the spices. Like I am getting like the cinnamon, but without the sweetness kick. Like you're not getting like the French toast style cinnamon with like maple syrup and stuff, but you are getting the dry aspects of cinnamon a lot in the back.
I agree. Although I do get a bit of maple syrup as you mentioned that, and there's also some fruitiness there, but kind of like generic fruitiness, like juicy fruit gum or that kind of like a fruit gum.
Nate, let me just give it another try here. Let's see. I can see where you're going with that.
I can't pick out an individual fruit.
Me neither. Like I said, my best description for this would be a pecan pie in a bottle.
Pecan pie in a bottle, I like that.
I find it's got all the aspects of what a pecan pie would be. It's nutty. The odor especially, very, very prolific with the brown sugar, the burnt sugar kind of style that you pecan pie, or even a sugar pie. If you've ever had a sugar pie, I don't know that's very popular in the States.
I have not.
In Quebec, we have something called a sugar pie, which is pretty much just brown sugar, everything that goes into a pecan pie without the pecan.
Well, sounds great to me. Now, behind that dryness, though, I also find just a little bit of vanilla and caramel, too. So that really lends itself to your sugar pies. Yeah, definitely.
Like I said, I find it to be, out of the three that I've had, but I haven't had every Knob Creek. I've had a few of the 9-year-old, and I've had the small batch and the single barrel. I know there's a 100% rye. I haven't had that one.
No, I haven't had the rye yet either.
Yeah. But out of the ones I've tried, I have to say that I do prefer this. It's a little more intense and in your face than the Basil Hayden.
Yeah. And I find it more flavorful than Knob Creek, the small batch 120 proof. The 9-year-old. Anyway, interesting. Now the finish, I don't know. Again, I find I'm left with a lot of sweetness. You know those little corn candies that you get from like the convenience store? They're
the Halloween.
Yeah, they're orange and yellow, like three colors. They're little triangles. So I get a bit of that. Also some corn silk, corn husk. Here in Korea, they make some tea from the corn silk. It's called corn silk tea or 옥수수 차 in Korean. So I get a little bit of that. And then, as you mentioned, really long finish, very, very long. Sweet and dryness just sort of carries on and on.
Yeah. But I appreciate that in my bourbons because I find that bourbons today have become a little too sugary and mellow. You know? And I kind of like that. I I kind of like this classic, more dry, hit you in the face style that this one's got. Comparison to the, let's say the Buffalo Trace, the standard issue mixing pad, or even like some ryes like the Lot 40.
Lot 40.
Which is a delicious rye, but it's very sweet, you know? I kind of like how this one is very aromatic and sweet on the nose, but not so much on the palate.
I agree with you. It does its own thing, and it does it well.
Yeah. So I really enjoy that.
Now, Swami, have you added some water yet?
I'm about to right now. That's what I was about to say.
All right, I did already. I think I've got about I had about 20 milliliters of the bourbon left, and I think I put in about maybe 8 or 9 milliliters of water added.
I kind of just eyeballed it and put about 4 or 5 drops in there. But I still had a pretty good amount in the glass. The viscosity on it is pretty chewy though. I didn't bring that up. Yeah. Got a nice, well, I guess the high alcohol content is going to make it a little less liquidy. Sure. Because you got water in there, so you're getting a little bit of chewiness of it.
Now you mentioned a lot about the product while we were talking from Jim Beam here. Now this is right from the website. I thought I'd just read this. Baker's, it's aged 7 years and bottled at 107 proof, 53.5% ABV. Utilizes a special strain of jug yeast, which results in a silky smooth texture and a consistent taste from batch to batch. So it sounds like they're using a very unique yeast to change up the flavor with this one.
Could be.
And you really don't see distilleries talking too much about the yeast that they're using.
Yeah, I know. Well, this one, like I said, the thing about Jim Beam that's weird because they'll say small batch, and that's one thing that kind of makes me laugh about Jim Beam because Jim Beam and Suntory are such humongous companies, you know, and distilleries that they have such high amounts that are produced. So it kind of makes me laugh when they say small batch because, you know, like if you're looking at maybe Maker's Mark when they say small batch, you know that it's actually a small batch of probably maybe 1,000 barrels or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas when telling you small batch, you're probably thinking more around the lines of like 1 million barrels or something. You know?
Now here's I thought I'd just tell you one more interesting thing about this one. Baker's Bourbon was awarded World's Best American Whiskey in 2007 by Whiskey Magazine's World Whiskies Awards.
I would like really impressed since I bought the bottle. I didn't think I was going to get that hyped up about it because after having the basil, which I do like, I wasn't, and the Knob Creeks, which I thought were pretty good bourbons. I still was going back to my go-to, which was a Maker's 46.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried that yet.
Which I really like, you know, and it seemed to be the one I kept on going back to. But then since I bought this bottle, I haven't really been touching my 46. I've been every time I wanted a bourbon, I've been hitting it.
Now, the regular Maker's Mark, I have to say, it is okay. I don't know if I'll buy another bottle anytime soon.
It's a bartender's best friend, though, for mixing.
Apparently so.
But I wouldn't agree with it. Great, yeah. The Maker's 46, well, it's another bourbon for another day, but I've done a review fast, and to me, it's the Maker's Mark, but just amplified at about like 30%.
Sounds
so
good.
Everything that, how I would consider it. With the water, I don't know if you're getting it, but to me, it's become incredibly sweeter.
Yes, that's what I wrote there. More sweetness and more cinnamon.
It's really come alive now. Not so much the drying. I'm actually kind of salivating, and I've noticed that the saliva has returned to my palate. So yeah, I'm liking it.
I'm with you. Now, when I wrote these notes here that I'm reading from my notes, I wrote here that I thought that the nose wasn't as good with water, but now that I'm smelling this, maybe I just put in the right amount of water, or maybe there's just been enough oxidation or breathing in the bottle. but it's a little nutty, sweet nutty. Really, really different compared to other bourbons. So I really like the smell of this with water. So I'm totally gonna scratch off that note on my little binder here. I like the nose better with water, and really approachable. I think anybody who likes whiskey, whether it's Scotch or Canadian whiskey or Japanese, I think they'll like that one.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's not I wouldn't call it a top shelf product. I would call it a mid-level bourbon. I would call it out of the beginners league.
Yeah.
But you know, it would be a very good start if you're kind of getting bored of, as I was mentioning, the aforementioned bourbon before, the Buffalo Trace, the Bullet bourbons, those other ones that are a little lower end, the Maker's Mark, the original. And you want to kind of step up a little bit, this would definitely be a way to go in a little easier.
Yeah.
The high ABV might scare some people. It's not that hot on the palate. I will tell you that right now to the people watching. It's not going to burn your throat, and you're not going to get severely turned off by it. It's very nice and easy on the entry for such a high ABV. But you're just getting a lot more quality of the product instead of the water that you would get on a lower ABV.
Absolutely.
So,
I don't know. As a consumer, it'd be nice if whiskey had to be sold at cask strength all the time.
That would be amazing.
And you know, I mean, if you go back into history, I'm sure that probably up until 80, 100 years ago, it probably was often sold at cask strength until the blenders, I guess, started blending and whatnot. And it seems like all bourbons also, like all the big brands, it wasn't until the 80s that they started to reduce the ABV.
Same thing. I think that a lot of it has to do with taxation, though.
Taxation, yeah, exactly.
For a lot of countries, it's the higher the ABV, it seems to go with the tax, which is sad. Yeah. I don't understand why.
Very sad. All right, so how about the palate with water?
The palate with water, I find it doesn't stick around as much because it doesn't have the dryness effect that is without the water added. Without the water added, it seems to really dry everything up. It really lingers on the top of the palate, on the bottom, on the back. It stays. I notice it's a little more pleasant because it's a little sweeter with the water added, but the finish has weakened a little. Not much, but a little, I noticed. The nose, I'll agree with your first assessment, I find. It was a lot more powerful without the water added. I find that the water kind of...
Interesting.
I'm getting your first thoughts on it. I was a little more happy with the nose earlier. Now I'm getting kind of the typical aromas that you'll get from a bourbon, which are just the floral kind of potpourri-ish kind of smell, and a little bit of vanilla. So I prefer the nose without the water. I'll just be honest. But I think I like better the taste now with the water.
Yep, I wrote here for the taste, a very nice change. I wrote, and the fruit that I talked about before, it seems as though the fruitiness has ripened. So just riper fruits, a little bit richer of flavor as far as the fruit aspect goes, and it's still very much lots of baking spices and vanillas and caramels.
I think I picked out the fruit though that we've been trying to find. I'm getting it's you gotta find it though and search for it. So to me, it's kind of hard to say for sure, but I'm getting a ripe banana.
Which one?
Ripe banana.
Ripe banana.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be onto something there.
Very ripe banana, maybe some dried raisins. It's definitely in the brown fruit kind of style.
Yeah, I think extremely ripe banana, like the kind that you want to use for banana bread.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was banana bread. Especially with the rye kind of coming through
right.
the background. That idea. Liking this back and forth. And to all our subscribers, especially, well, I'm calling up from my end to my subscribers and to Mark subscribers. I hope you're enjoying our little tete-a-tete and back and forth. If you'd like to see more of these, let me know, because I know a few reviewers on YouTube as well as Mark does, and I would be more than happy to bring in other people to do reviews with.
And we can do this again too. It seems that we're pretty much in very, what can I call it? We're in good sync here.
Yes, similar tastes, similar palates.
Similar palates.
Me though, and Mark, you might be a little more awake than I am at midnight.
Well, right, you're well past midnight. I'm just halfway through my Sunday here.
Almost 1 o'clock. My wife was very friendly. I told her, honey, I'm going to make some noise tonight doing a review. She's in bed. And she's like, it's okay.
Well, good. That was very nice of her. Now, for me, the finish with water, again, it's a little bit fruitier. Still lots of this candy corn kind of thing going on. And then a little bit of herbal and toffee. And again, this finish is just very long. I can still taste it now, and it's been about a couple of minutes since my last sip. So I think that's pretty good for this, as you say, this category of whiskey, which is kind of like that mid-shelf range.
Yeah. You're not going into the Pappy Van Winkles and the Eagle Rares. And
right. I mean, I've never tried those before. I'd really like to. I'm not going to pay crazy money for that kind of bourbon, though. I think I might go up to $200 for a bourbon. It almost seems to be very very anti-bourbon, anti-American bourbon, to really jack up prices on bourbon itself.
It's sad. It's a sad state of affairs what's going on right now in the world. The Scotch I understand because there is such a high demand for it. American bourbon seems to be the demand seems to be in Canada and the States only. It's more of a Western world kind of thing. And I find it's becoming pretty sad when you're seeing certain bourbons that were probably $32 to $40 2 years ago, jumping up to $80, $90 a bottle within a year, which I find a little demanding.
The good thing is, though, I mean, it's nice. It's got an age statement, and a lot of bourbons are now carrying much older age statements than they used to. So that's one mark of quality, I guess we can say.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy about that. I still don't understand, because the demand is not so high in comparison to Scotch, why some bourbons are choosing to go the no age statement route though lately. Yeah. Which make any sense, because from what I hear, supplies aren't dwindling as they are with Scotch. So to me, it just that's totally a money grab for me. So I'm a little disappointed on that. So I do like the fact that they put an age statement on this. That's for sure.
So are you going to give a score to this?
I don't really do scores.
You don't do scores.
For you, Mark, tonight I'll give it a score.
Oh, all right.
I will say out of a 1 out of 10.
Out of 10?
Out of 10, I would give it definitely a nice 8.
8. Okay. Well, out of 100 for me, I gave it 85.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I can't remember. I don't have my all my other bourbons. I think are in older books here, but you know, to compare, the Canadian Still Waters rye got an 83, and the Stock and Barrel Still Waters single malt got an 81. Anyway, so I like it better than those. Oh, here's one. Stranahan's Colorado Whiskey. Now, again, that's a single malt, so you can't quite compare them, but I gave that an 86 and this one an 85. They're on par with one another. And price-wise, probably close to the same as well, I would think.
Well, this is a little more up on, like I told you, and I said, I know it's not a top-shelf product, but it's an mid-ranger, which I said the Maker's 46.
Yeah.
The Maker's 46 is at $61. So they're identical in price here in Quebec. And I totally stated that Maker's is my go-to for bourbons.
Yeah.
And for the moment, right now, I will say that I'm preferring the Bakers over my Makers.
Interesting.
So I do highly recommend it to anybody who's looking.
So Makers over Bakers.
Yeah, Bakers over Makers.
Oh, Bakers over Makers. Okay, good.
I will, however, say to those of you who want to buy a Booker's, which I have not tried yet, that maybe you should start with the Bakers before jumping up on the Booker's, because I know the Booker's is quite expensive. From what I saw, it's usually at about $130 Canadian. So I would be guessing about $70 to $80 to $90 American. The bourbon prices tend to be quite similar between Canada and the States.
Yeah.
The Scotch, which are really different.
Really high in Canada.
Yeah. It's usually a difference between $10 to $15 to maybe even sometimes. Like this one, I think is a difference of $5 between us and the States. Not much of a difference.
Huh.
But, yeah. I had a great. Anything else?
I was going to say that Booker's Manitoba had a few bottles, and I went home last summer, as you know, and I was watching the website and thinking, okay, I'll get home and I'll drive wherever I have to get a bottle of that Booker's. I think it was $89.99, so $90 for the Booker's. Sounds like a good price. But it got sold out by the time I got there, so I never got a chance. And that's way too expensive here.
Supply and demand in Canada. Supply and demand. It goes really quick around. The public liquor board, man. You can't. If you see a bottle that you want in Canada, get it right away because it's going to be gone the next day.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Well, I haven't got much more to say. This has been a lot of fun. How about you?
Yeah. It's been great. I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, I knew it was going to be a learning experience with you. You're very knowledgeable, and I'm very happy for your channel and how it keeps on growing. And
likewise, Swami, you too. Yours is also growing at quite a good clip, of late especially.
I would say I've always been honest about it. My channel is an acquired taste, and I love my fans. Well, I wouldn't call them fans. I love the people who watch me, and I'm glad you guys do. And I will continue to be myself. And if you like my reviews, keep watching. And to any of Mark's patrons.
Yep, to my subscribers, please do subscribe to Malted in Montreal. That's Swami Swab's YouTube channel. And Swami, I was going to say, it seems as though in the beginning of the year, 2016, you had a bit of a break from your reviews.
I'm taking a little tiny bit of a break right now. Not a big one, just a small one. I'm stocking up on products. I don't want to do. I'm kind of trying to go back to my old format, which was bi-monthly, so twice a month.
Okay.
Instead of, I want to go more towards a higher product line.
Yeah.
Not saying price range. More that's a little less available, a little more less known. Some higher end stuff that I want to bring to the guys. I started off doing high quality scotches and kind of been going up and down, and I kind of want to streamline it to more older scotches to scotches not as found as much. And I'm trying to bring more runs into it. And even
sounds good.
Yeah. But thank you very much.
I think that works for you, though.
Yeah. Well,
and
I really want to.
I was going to say, likewise, I'm probably going to slow down to about one a week eventually. I've been doing about 3 a week for the last few months, and trying to stock up because I never know when my kids are going to be sick or needing something. So I thought, okay, I'll stockpile reviews, and then that way I can always put one out, even if they're sick or if something happens. So. I think twice a week will be good going forward, and then probably next year sometime we'll go down to about once a week with just the occasional double week review, now and again, just for kicks or something like that. But Because you're right, it's just too expensive. It's too expensive to keep up buying all these bottles that collect space on my shelf. I can't drink them as fast as I buy them.
Yeah. No, like I said, to me, your reviews have gotten amazing in the year and a half that you've been doing them. I find that you're doing Canada proud, and your channel's growing, and I hope your success continues.
Well, I really appreciate that.
I do. And with that, I'd like to say good night.
Okay. Thanks very much, Swami. It's been great.
All right. Well, have a good one, my friend.
Okay, and thanks everybody. Don't forget to subscribe to Malted in Montreal and to Whiskey Whistle if you haven't. Take care now. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.